right, welcome to the next edition of Tea with Dr. V. It's my pleasure to have with us again Melissa Van Straten, who's our Director of Teaching and Learning. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vivanco.
So, as you know, in June, the Mount Vernon School Board adopted the new reading curriculum. Can you tell me and tell us about the program and the first several months of implementation? How's that going?
Absolutely. So the new reading curriculum that was approved and adopted, is called American Reading Company. And that was the program, the curricular resource that rose to the top during our pilot process last year when we piloted 2 different programs, one of them being American Reading Company. And American Reading Company it stands out because it's a content-based literacy program. So that means that students are learning to read, write, listen, and speak as they're also learning about a science or social studies topic. And so they're high interest topics. Students are finding that they're really enjoying what they're reading and learning about. An example of a unit that our kindergarten students are in the middle of right now is a zoology unit. So that's an example of some content-based topic. American Reading Company, its mission is that all students would read and write at or beyond grade level. And it's also really important to them as a company that students develop a love of reading and writing. And so it's been fun to see, just as we're in the very early stages of implementation, see how that's coming to light in the classrooms. The other thing that stands out about American Reading Company, or ARC as we refer to it sometimes, is that it uses a structured approach to literacy, meaning that it uses a systematic and sequential approach when teaching foundational skills and phonics. And a lot of the research that is out there right now speaks a lot about structured literacy and that approach. So as we're in year 1, we are seeing students as early as kindergarten starting to build reading stamina. That's the length of time that they're reading. We're seeing them engage with really interesting, as I mentioned, texts about animals and different topics that they're interested in. We're seeing reading cultures being built in classrooms. Students are setting reading goals that are known as power goals. So a lot of really exciting things are happening. As we work together as a district, as elementary schools in the district, we're starting to see just really consistent application of our instructional focus as we go from classroom to classroom and building to building. So it's neat to be able to see common instructional practice and common use of materials. And then, like any new implementation, there's also challenges and frustrations. Sure. That as we're learning a new resource and as we're understanding how it works for students. Our educators, and I say educators because it's administrators, it's teachers, and it's paras, have been engaging also in some regular, ongoing, job-embedded professional development to help support the program.
Excellent. Well, and I like the way you ended because that really gets to my next question. I've been hearing a lot of people say literacy for all for literacy. Mm-hmm. So what exactly does that mean, and what does that look like in Mount Vernon?
So I mentioned decades worth of research that that exist about structured literacy, and it really is based on what researchers know now about how the brain learns how to read. And what research is showing is that 90% of people can learn how to read. People with learning disabilities, people with dyslexia. And so if we know that 90% of people can learn how to read, we're really thinking about literacy for all of our students. And in order to make that happen, it takes a system-wide approach that involves everybody, all stakeholders, everybody from our own Mount Vernon staff to families to community members. So as we're working toward literacy for all of our students, again, it just takes all of us to work to build the system and to sustain it and to come together to support our students to learn how to read.
Excellent. And really that's kind of a great segue to my last question, maybe digging a little deeper.
Okay.
So what can families and the community do to really support that literacy for all and all for literacy?
So literacy for all for literacy. The families and the community are certainly a big part of that. And so I would first say they could thank a teacher. Mm-hmm. This is hard work. implementing with something new, teaching with new materials. It takes a lot of learning, it takes a lot of patience, and so just thanking a teacher on behalf of students would be something that they could certainly do. But also reading at home with their children. 20, 30 minutes a day reading at home. Kids will be bringing home books from their classrooms that they can read with, practice with, and then return to school to bring new ones home. Listen to their children read, ask them questions about what they're learning as they read. And even beyond that, storytelling, if telling stories to their children is something that they can also do. And lastly, I would say volunteer in schools. We're always looking for adults to be able to be in buildings to help to read with students or to engage in other tasks, but would love to have people in classrooms as a part of the Literacy for All for Literacy work.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Yeah, I think it's important, again, like you said, collectively as a system, that if we work together, we will have better outcomes for our kids. Absolutely. So with that, I always appreciate you joining me here with this edition with Dr. V. Always appreciate your presence here. And with that, I wish everybody a safe and healthy holiday this season with loved ones and friends. Have a wonderful day.